Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. Joining myself, Southside, on the show this evening is my mucker AK and my good friend, Albert. How are you, gentlemen?
Evening, Southside. Evening, Albert. Evening, Rangers Radio listeners.
Evening, guys. Evening, all the listeners. And how you both doing?
I think we know. We've been on all week. Hands to the pump, innit? Hands to the pump. Well, hopefully, just thinking about tomorrow, just before we get into the show, tomorrow, hopefully, AK, will be our last trip to Hampden for a league game.
Aye, well, it's good to see the building work, progressing quite nicely. Whether we're going to get back to Ibrox as soon as what we're thinking or intimating, only time will tell. But it's a bit of positivity. There's light at the end of that tunnel, thankfully.
Aye, Albert, by all accounts and reports, and we're obviously hopeful that this will be our last league game, and then we'll get back to Ibrox. So hopefully things are ticky to boo, going along quite well, all hands to the pump, and hopefully when that league game comes in against Hibs, and possibly we could win the next round of the Cup against Dundee, which would be even better, and obviously back for the European ties. So it's a three-way pronged attack here, and it will be great to be back at Ibrox.
Well, a bit of positive news, mate. That's what it is. We're getting there, mate. We're getting there. It's a distraction that was we didn't need, but it's done now. It's looking good. The pictures you see, it's looking really good, actually. So, looking forward to getting back to the hallowed grounds of Ibrox and support the team. It's because we don't like Hampden, that's for sure.
Nah, I'm not looking forward to travelling to Hampden tomorrow, but it needs to be done. Anyway, if you two guys, what we'll do is we'll get the phone lines open early tonight as well, but what we'll do is we've cut the manager down a wee bit because some of the stuff they asked him today, we'll cover it, and it wasn't a lot. We've heard it all before regarding the stadium, so if you two guys would like to get in mute, then we'll hear what the manager had to say today.
To confirm your squad news, Philippe, is Robin Proper, Liam Balogun and Oscar Cortez, where are they in the return?
Leon is fit again, trained all week. Robin he trained individual for the moment, so he's in a doubt for tomorrow. He will be 200% sure fit for next week, but it's a doubt about tomorrow if it's a risk or not. And we don't want to take risk for the longer term. So we will make that decision tomorrow. Oscar Cortez, I expect also in the training next week. So that's the plan also with him. So and there's a small muscle thing also with Scott Wright. So he's also in doubt for tomorrow. But towards next week, and I touch wood because we still have a game. But for next week, I expect everybody back. Only not Rit van Yilmaz, and for the rest, that whole squad will be training.
Philippe, can you just clarify what Dujon Sterling's situation is with has he got an issue with his wrist?
Yeah, he made a bad fall, but that was already before last game when he played. So he played with that. Because again, there are so many rumors here, and some people came to tell me that he was out for months and panic around that. Totally not true. So he had a small problem and he played with it. So he's a tough guy.
On the issue of Ibrox, you said there's a possibility that this could be your last league game at Hampden. Is there a possibility that the cup game could be at Ibrox next month?
We will see next month.
Yeah, next month. So you've got the League Cup game, then you've got the league game as well.
Yeah, but I don't know how fast things will be handled. I cannot give guarantees about the Ibrox situation. I can only say that for the moment things are going in a positive way. The club is happy how things are evolving now, and everybody's doing efforts day and night to get us as fast as possible back at Ibrox for all the games.
Just the one on transfers, are you confident that you will get the business done that you need with regards to both ways?
How many managers did you ask that question? Did one guy give you the guarantee that it would happen? Yeah, I'm confident because I believe in the club, I believe in the recruitment, and I believe we can do the right things. We need to do a lot of things. So I know that in one transfer period, it will be impossible to do everything that we want to do as a club, that we know. But I think a lot of good things already are done, but we need still to do several things this week. That's clear for everybody in the building.
Two mornings. Philippe, I asked you straight after the game last week about the performance overall, having analysed it and things this week. You said maybe it will take a wee while to get up to where you want it to be, but how much confidence does the performance last week give you? Because there were so many chances created, and overall it was a pretty good performance in that way. So how do you, having analysed it, what would you say about that now?
Yeah, that I always try to make things better, and I'm focused on that. So we should have killed the game off much earlier, that game. But there were indeed a lot of positive points in the way we did our building, in the way we could find space, in the way we created chances, in the way we defended. So there were a lot of positive things from that side, and I want to see a confirmation of that tomorrow again against a tough opponent. I still have pain in my stomach if I think about our game last season against Ross County. So we know it's a tough opponent who will do everything to take us out of the game. So I want confirmation from the players, the things they showed last week. That's what we've been working on during the week. And like this, to grow as a squad and then to strengthen the squad this week with a few players with added value towards the team for the short term. So we signed in the beginning of the transfer market several young players for the future, but we expect to do things also for the short term now.
On another issue, Philippe, there's a report out this week from SFA about Scotland, compared to other nations, don't bring enough youngsters through. What's your thoughts on young players coming through in Scotland? Have you seen enough of them?
No, for sure not. And we also started with that to put much more attention towards that in all the club. And you will see tomorrow, you saw also at the end of the last game, we had several young players out of the academy on the pitch. That moment, what was before less the case. So it's an important thing for Rangers, and I need to repeat what I said several months ago. I think what this country misses is that the B teams can play in the second league. That would help a lot. And you see countries where a lot of young players get chances and can grow, but have the step in between. Like Belgium, like Holland, where the B teams of several clubs are playing in the second league or in the third league for the lower teams. The step is not that big, and because of that you get also more players who are at the age of 20, 21, 22 who are ready to play in the first league because they played at 17, 18, 19, 20 in the second league and they could make the step in between. And in that way I see that people want to make efforts to make things better, but I think that is a big step that people are not open for yet. And I think it would be a very good, no, I don't think, I'm sure, it will be a very good thing for Scottish football to do that. And for all the teams, because not only, and that's maybe the thing that people sometimes think, it's good things for Celtic and Rangers and Hearts and maybe some other teams, but not for the rest. But it's not the case, because the players who don't succeed here, they have experience in the second league, and then to go to the Ross counties, for example. So everybody benefits out of that. And it's a big difference, because people are talking about cooperation with other teams and putting several players in one other team and to work in that way. But it's much more difficult, because you don't have any control what is done there with the players. It's totally different when it's your team with your coaches, with your performance staff, with everything controlled around the players. You have much more control of the story. How is an evolution of a player? If you put them on loan or you put them in a team where you don't have any control, it's just like throwing them in the swimming pool without learning to swim. So we need to make these steps smaller, so it needs to be more controlled. So I hope in the future maybe everybody can join together and follow that idea. And it's not my idea. It happens in several countries, and they have success also with much more younger players. So I think it's always good to look where things are going well and to learn out of that.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, managers seem to cover quite a few bits there, AK. Couple of negatives, I suppose, would probably be Robin Proper. Might miss a game tomorrow, to not take any chances, to be ready for next week, because I think he said he'd be 200% fit today, something like that. And obviously, Ox will be probably disappointed, but I'm sure he'll be happy. I'm sure he'll maybe get to talk to Scott Wright again tomorrow when we go to Hampton, since they're best of buddies, but he's a doubt. I know he's excited about going tomorrow, because I think he might be meeting them or something, you never know. But aye, Scott Wright's a doubt. Balogun's fit. AK.
Aye, it's I should stop agreeing with you. My dad told me off the other day, you agree with Southside far too much, you need to start disagreeing with him. But no, I think Ox will have his I Love Scott Wright t-shirt on tomorrow, so that's good. As you say, you can meet him in the dignitaries again. But Suter, aye, no Suter, Proper. He definitely sounds as if he's going to miss out tomorrow, but we've got Balogun to slot in there. Be good to see the big man come in there. Again, I prefer Balogun in the team anyway, so him and Suter should be adequate to get by Ross County. And it's a muchness in it. It's getting players back on the park. I think he also intimated that Cortez was kind of featuring in the training, and Aganami was actually featuring in the training as well. So
just killing my questions for Albert, that's it. Just killed my questions for Albert.
Sorry about that, pal.
Well, batter in, it's all right. Just destroy the show at the start.
Well, just to let you know, Southside, I disagree with you, because I don't want into trouble with AK's dad.
Oh, here, hopefully get some callers on, because obviously not everybody agrees with us, so it'd be good to have some callers come on the night and put their points.
And disagree with us.
Aye, and have a right good discussion,
Aye.
But
Andy Phillips, round two.
as AK was intimating there about players coming back, and obviously mentioned Hamza Ignaman and obviously Nico Raskin as well back training, Albert. And he also said that Cortez will be training next week, and as of next week, apart from Yilmaz, everybody will be in full training.
Well, the good news is Scott Wright's injured, so that's a big plus. But the rest of it is good news. It really is. It's clearing up nicely. Let's hope this is the things to happen in the future. It looks good and looks bright. We're starting to get players back in a reasonable time now. Don't want them out in the first place, fair enough, but The boy again, man, we don't need not a clue what the boy's up to, you know what I mean, or what he's going to be like, but a nice surprise, let's just say that. I'm glad the manager, when he talked about the youth, I'm glad he turned around and says it wasn't his idea, because as soon as anything comes out of Rangers with an idea, they automatically just dismiss it and they'll no follow it. So I'm glad he said it wasn't his idea.
We spoke, as you were saying about the B team there, we spoke about it on here last week, and as we've said, there's a lot of B teams when you look at them in the Challenge Cup. Right, there was a lot of the Premiership teams in the league had B teams in it, so surely you can get them into a division in Scotland, AK, and try and make it more competitive. And then, like he says, you're looking after your own players. Might be advantage sometimes to send one or two and loan out, because that's what normally happens. But if you could play your B team, or maybe even play a couple of overage players that are coming back for injury and experience in your B team when they're recovering, since you don't have a reserve league. But if you can have a B team, if you've got loads of B teams, how could you not have a reserve league even? Or do they have the reserve league, but we weren't participating in it? Is that what it was? I think. I think the other B teams have got a league set up. I think we didn't take part in it.
Maybe an academy league again or something like that. But listen, it just smacks the other clubs, particularly the lower division clubs, looking after themselves, because they don't want to lose their position within the league. If we all of a sudden have a Rangers, Celtic, Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, I mean, all the Premier clubs having B teams into the lower divisions, then that could possibly relegate, a lot of them into basically oblivion. So it's just typical Scottish football, self-centred, looking after themselves, and don't see the benefits of development bringing through these younger players and gaining them competitive games. Because as it is now, we spoke about it, I think, on Wednesday, RGB and Oxford talking, and a lot of people's been talking about it for a while. Where they are now, they're not good enough to step into the first team, a lot of them, but they're too good for the level of just playing promiscuous games, basically, aren't they?
Aye, there's a few in the B team, obviously, that would stand out. And obviously, Ross McCausland, as Albert will tell you, was one for the B team last year. I think if you were playing in a league in Scotland and competing, it would make it better. The boys would grow together, and then you could sort of see how they're developing. I'm not saying you're going to win every league, but if you could just get a chance to even get promoted, they could even make it with a pyramid system slightly, and make it a bit more exciting. Maybe bring a couple other Highland League teams in, or a couple up for the Lowland League into it, and try and make another division. I don't know. But if there's enough B teams, if Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, Dundee United and that want to enter it along with us and them, and they were making a space, Albert, I think it would be good. It would certainly be better than what we've got.
I think what Alex says right. No, I mean, it's they're all fear to lose their stature where they sit in Scottish football, which for my mind is not very good. We're all looking for, I mean, not just the teams, all the teams are looking out for their own good. No, I mean, Rangers are looking out for their own good as every other team's looking out for their own good, and try to get them to agree. You're never going to get them to agree, mate. It's just impossible. I know abroad, I dare say there's financial benefits abroad when they're doing it, because it can't just be, we're looking after our youth team, because Scotland, when it comes to the youth, they don't bother that much. But one of the things I'd like to ask, I mean, that question to Clement was the SFA said that Scotland's behind everybody else in Europe. I think it was bringing young players through. What the base that on? I don't understand. What the best on getting to the first team of the team your way, or is because Clement touched on that, or is it just the fall out of professional football altogether? What the best on? Because they just come out with these stupid statements, and you never know what they're really talking about. So if you can actually tell us the guidelines, what success looks like, to say, is it just numbers, just saying, we get 30 players through a year, every year, throughout the league's a youth team? Is that just turning professional, get into first team, or is that just, I don't know, what does it mean? I don't understand what it means. So anyway, apart from that, nothing will change in Scotland. Nothing. We've spoken about it that many times, not just about youth, about leagues, everything. Nothing will ever change because they don't want it to change. And if they've not got a stomach to change it, they'll not change it, mate. And it's been like this since I was a young boy. I'm an old man now, and it's still the same. And all these young boys that are listening, are following Rangers, and now, I'm going to say listening to us, they're not listening to us, but they're going to get to our ages, and they're going to be saying the same thing. Nothing's changed. And I look back to my dad's time, and nothing changed for his time to do. So it's just going to carry on, mate. So they'll talk about it and just say the same things over and over and over again, but nothing will ever change. Nothing, mate. Radical. The whole game needs to go bankrupt, I told you before you're going to see any change.
You did say that. You certainly did. It's like, listen, we could talk about it, but it'll no be. There'll no change. They went to 4 games a season. They wanted the money off us, and the rest of them that are all down the leagues are scared. You've seen the state. I think it was Brecon at one point were complaining they didn't want teams coming up for the Lowland League and all that, and they protested about it. I think eventually they got their just desserts. But you need progression, and you need a radical change, and probably need a bigger league. I think we need a bigger league and try and reduce it down to playing each other twice a season. But Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, Motherwell's, they'll just say no straight away. But TV dictate what happens. And the way it is, hopefully, if we can get the McClellans and the Doncasters out and get a new regime in and time-making, then we might get a radical shake-up. And if TV pay enough money, clubs might bow to whatever they demand, because most of the day bow to their demands anyway. You see it's kick-off times and everything else.
Yeah, true, but the only way you'll get a change there if you see a bit of white smoke coming out of the Vatican chimney. But in my mind, there are far too many professional clubs, or they call themselves professional. They're basically semi-professional. There are far too many clubs in Scotland for the size of nation that we have. I know we're fit by mad and what have you, but 42 clubs in a country that's got 5 million, 5.5, 6 million, whatever it is, a thing with. Our country swell, so for me, there are too many clubs there. There are too many meaningless games, and as you say, it's just trying to improve the product. That's what the TV's really interested in. They're not interested in all the lower leagues and all that, but we are. We're concerned about the development of our youth. We're concerned about how we're going to progress the youth into our kind of main league, and how the boys are going to develop into full internationals to improve our national team. Because in essence, that's based. Scotland's, the SFA are basically blaming the Scottish clubs for the lack of success at international level. That's what that sounds to me, Albert. Whereas England, Portugal, Italy, Germany, France, etc., they're all looking after their youth, and they're seeing a pathway further where they are as a young player through their academy to develop into a first team, to develop into their national team.
I think they've got that's rich that they're blaming the clubs for not bringing players through. I think that's rich, by the way. We've been playing football for 150 years, and most of the 150 years we've been stinking at international levels. So I don't know why it's all of a sudden blame the clubs. It's not to do with the clubs. It's people who's running the game. I think they should have a wee look in the mirror, that they clowns, right enough. When are they ever going to look in the mirror and take the blame for anything? They never take the blame for nothing. But it's I just don't see the point of it. I just don't see the point of any of it, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't even think they know what they want. What are they actually looking for? They think Scotland's going to develop and win the World Cup or something like that. Is that their ambition? Because that should be their ambition. Or is it just, we just want more selection at the international level so they can go and get scudded with somebody? So where are we going, mate? What are we talking here? Is it just to get the boys into the game so they can make a living, a semi-decent living, to a rubbish living? Let's be honest with it. I don't know, mate. I just don't see anything positive about it at all, unless you change it all. But they're not going to do it.
Changing the league's one thing. Listen, if you probably look at some of the teams, I mean, in the Championship, you've got half the teams all playing grass and half of them are playing on the plastic pitches for a start. But you've got other, I think it comes down to managers and a lot of clubs outside. If you go outside, just go outside the league. If you go into the Championship and League One, you've got some managers that just play direct football, and they're probably the skillful players. And that if you're in midfield, you're not going to get a kick of the ball because it's played back to front. Now and again, you'll go on the ball, and then you might show a bit of skill. But if he's at a team where they just play lump the ball all the time, you're not going to develop many players. If you look at Falkirk, they seem to be going down and playing a lot of nice football under John McGlynn. Airdrie's playing decent football under Rhys McCabe. By all accounts, in the reports you see, he's got them down playing football. Ian Murray done it last year before he got sacked at Raith Rovers. By all accounts, they played sort of decent football. So sometimes it comes down to the coaching when they go into these clubs and what they're. But I know you've got a budget, but listen, if you've got boys, you might try and play football, and then you might develop more players. AK, I know they had the School of Excellence and all, and then they take boys in, and I feel as if some of the boys I've known that went into these things, they make them into robots. They take away the freedom they played with their boys' clubs. And that seems to be the feedback. You're made into a robot more than just having the freedom to go out and play and enjoy yourself.
Well, it's great in theory, what you're saying, and you're right in what you're saying. We would all like to see young players playing nice, attractive football and passing and moving and developing their career into the first team and playing the exact same way. The bigger clubs are encouraged to do that. The likes of Phil Foden or a Cole Palmer or that. You can see the way that Guardiola, but that's the top of the three guys, so isn't it? Obviously, lower down the leagues, finance does dictate how certain managers will the philosophy they're going to play, because it's basically it can be a short-term career management. If you're not getting results, and pressure's going to come on you, and you're going to be moved on. So the long-term strategy of bringing in youth and getting a certain style of play, you've got to have a good relationship with your owners and patience with the supporters, and to see the kind of flourish of what you're actually trying to do. A lot of managers or a lot of chairmen, a lot of supporters aren't going to give you that patience, and that's where the trouble comes for the management style. Kudos to all the managers that go with that style and say, come on, stick with me and you'll see the benefits of it. But you know yourself, if they're not getting results or a clash of personalities, Ian Murray was doing a great job there with Raith Rovers, lost his job first game of the season. I don't know what happened there, but if something just isn't right, boom, managers away. That's the first decision they make.
Aye, that's it. But like I was saying, it'll never change unless TV dictate and you can get rid of that mob up there at the SFA and think a new change, and maybe make it slightly bigger league in this 4 times, and then you're playing each other in the cup and all that. It just gets monotonous. But anyway, we'll get away from that. I heard you saying that, when we talked earlier, Albert, and we're saying that Balogun was fit. Proper might miss out tomorrow. And I reckon John Souttar's fit. But the rumours are surrounding Ben Davis now that he might be going on to Birmingham on loan with a possibility for the rest of the season. Do you think, if it's no materialising at the moment, it's in the pipeline, do you think he plays if he's needed, or do you think you'll just keep him at it and play Balogun and Souttar tomorrow if Proper doesn't make it?
I think I'll play Balogun and Souttar. Definitely, mate. No, because Davis is rumoured to go on loan. It's a different scenario if Hadji and Cantwell. That it's the fact that a club's come in and asked for him. He's no own. I don't believe that he was asking for a move away. So I know. And if Balogun was injured, I would need Hasler put him in. I don't particularly like the boy as a defender. I think he's an excellent reader of the game. But he's a defender. He's a lot to be desired. But no, I think it'll be Balogun and Souttar tomorrow. You've got to play your best team in it as possible. Because we had an argument a debate about it last week when we played Kiev. We're greeting about because we didn't play Kevney on the wing. Oh, we should play them for the beginning. It's an argument, mate. So if that's the case, Balogun plays. We're playing our best team. Because in my opinion, I think he's even at his age, he's still the best defender we've got.
Positive news if it goes through, if the deal happens, AK, because I know he probably commands a decent wage. I'm not even going to speculate what people think. No, that he commands a decent wage, I would think. And if they're looking to put him into their squad, even if it's a loan with an option to buy, even better. But if it's a loan deal and they're picking up probably his wages, which they could probably afford, then maybe it's why we were sort of rumoured to have been in for a Brazilian centre-back this morning, but we get turned down.
Aye, well, it certainly ticks boxes, doesn't it? I mean, how many times does Clement need to say it? We need players out before we can get players in. And if we've seen it a couple of weeks ago, as soon as we sold Connor Golson, we get the big fella proper in on the Friday. So it's just a matter of getting these bodies out the building and trying to get replacements in there. I think you'll probably touch on it, but get also asked, what is the position? We had you, we can't, well, with this you, with that you. And he's just basically repeating himself. I don't know whether these guys actually listen to him, but he's been saying it basically every week. So that's the situation where we are now.
All right, well, if it's all right with you two guys, I think we'll get the phone lines opened. If you two think that's appropriate, we'll hopefully get some callers tonight.
Go for it,
yep,
mate.
Get them in.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Hi, Mitchie were mentioning there about, talked about Hadji and Cantwell, and he sort of, did you hear him reference Albert when he said out of Scotland, when he was talking about Cantwell?
Aye, saying Cantwell's wanting out of Scotland.
Aye.
Don't know if he's been getting hassle or what, or his wife doesn't like Scotland or what. I mean, they're just at the way, aren't they? Whether they're wanting to go down south, back down south. I mean, you can't blame him if he wants out of Scotland. If Maesters were away, we'd all get out of Scotland. Let's be honest about it. It's not the most pleasant place to stay weather-wise. But aye, so I picked up on it, but he doesn't want to get into too much detail. It was probably private with the guy, you know what I mean? So he just, fair enough, he wants it. For whatever reason, whether it's a football reason, whether it's a personal reason, it makes no difference. He wants it, so out he'll go. Bye-bye, cheerio. I hope it's nothing bad for him and his family. You don't want anything bad to happen to the boy, but if he doesn't want to play football, I mean, I'm only interested in him playing football. I'm not interested in his private life per se, any other time, or any player for that matter. I'm only interested in what they can do in the park. And if he doesn't want to play, he doesn't want to play, and that's the end to that. Got to respect him, mate.
Aye, there's obviously reasons in the background, and obviously he said to me, go away and think about it, and he's come back with the same decision, AK. So, listen, when he goes, I wish him all the best, and that'll be that. He's had his moments, and hopefully if he can find a new club, and it helps us quickly get more players, because you can hear there's been a lot of activity today, and last night, yesterday, it was really quiet the week before, and now it seems to be gaining traction. There's been a lot of players, but we were in for a Brazilian today, I believe. It was a centre-back.
Was it so?
It was a 20. Still recovering.
What do you mean? When you ask him it's sore for, you know you get him on the time.
He was signed for Santos, and he went to Almira. I'm not even going to try. I think it's Heike or something, Brazilian centre-back. But obviously the fact that we went in to try and get a loan move for him, if the rumour's true, and it was reported that we put up about 750 grand in the loan deal, and we're offering them a percentage as a sell-on clause with a view to us buying them, and I reckon the fee would have been about €7 million. So obviously they maybe know in the background that there is maybe Ben Davies is maybe moving out the club, and we're trying to act because it's probably going to be a done deal maybe in time, or we probably wouldn't have went in and tried to negotiate that deal this morning if it's true.
Aye, well, there seems to be a bit of truth in it. Certainly, the guy who's reporting it, I believe his name. I'll have a wee stab at it. Tiago Guvia. I kind of don't know if that's the right pronunciation for it. But Albert, you're good at the pronunciations.
Oh no, well, I'll just say that was perfect pronunciation. Brazilian about you.
But no, listen, it's good in the sense that we're actively got potentially people there, because Neil's Coppin's got to do that with players in mind. It's just a matter of getting the right deal for the right club, for the right players, and get them out the door, get them off the wage bill. If we can reduce the wage bill, the guy, I think he's only 21-year-old, he's pretty young. He's already played La Liga. He's obviously got a promising career, and I think Almeria, are hopeful of getting a kind of big money recruit back for him. So if they're looking to develop him out here, then aye, as long as he's ready for the first team. I don't want another project where it's like Inciala and you've got to give him like 2 months before he's up to speed and all that. Whoever's got to come in must be first team ready. They've got to go in and improve their team for me.
I'd like to think, Albert, if we go back in and we purchase him on loan originally, and I'd like to think he's going to go into the first team, because we're buying a centre back, and you'll have proper Balogun and Suter, but and obviously you've got Leon King, but I don't really want another project. But at his age, I don't know so much if he's in the same bracket as Inciala.
You got to remember, mate, it's not just about, I know what the immediate problem was first team players, I know that, but you've got to remember, you've got to look out for long-term players, long-term projects that are going to make you a lot of money and take the club forward. This is not just about the here and now. This is about putting building blocks or putting a foundation in place that you can build for over the years. You know what I mean? And then the conveyor belt sort of starts then. So it might be that. And if you're talking about these sort of figures, man, he must be a decent enough player. You know what I mean, he must be more than a decent player, man. If you're talking that kind of cash. But at the end of the day, whether he's ready for the team or not ready for the team, it's nothing will happen unless part of the Ben Davis deal is a loan with an obligation to buy. Because we can't just kick the can down the road and then they all come back next year. These guys, your Hadjis and all this kind of, they've got to go. They've either got to be sold or they've got to go out and loan with an obligation to buy. Because we can't keep going around in circles, man. And by the way, see if we actually get all these, the Davis, Hadjis, Cantwell, Matondo, get them off the wages, along with the ones we've already got off. That wage bill's coming down rapidly, mate. Rapidly coming down. So that's good news. Another bit of good news. Then we're into a stable situation regarding the fair play. We've not got that hanging out of your head anymore. Which is excellent. Now you can actually trade properly. No team can hold you a gun to your head to make you take deals that you're not particularly wanting to take, or they're letting players walk away for nothing, which is one of our biggest failures, man. Clement said that as soon as he walked in, he couldn't believe how many players his contracts were up at the end of this year, or the end of the end of last season. Ridiculous, he's saying. Ridiculous. And that is ridiculous. We knew that. The fans were saying it. So for that situation, obligation to buy for Davis, then you might go for this boy. And I'm confident in their selection of players now, because the ones we're seeing, you can see there's something about them. They're maybe not ready yet, like Yefty and Rob, proper still to settle in. Chevy's yet to get up to speed. But you can see there's quality there. Cortez, there's quality there. Diamandi, Barn. There is quality there, mate. No doubt about it. So I'm quite happy with it. I wouldn't bother me if the boy is not quite ready. But he must be ready because he's playing in the team he's coming for. He's actually been playing in their first team, I'm led to believe.
He had been one of the players actually signed for Leeds. They sold a player to Leeds. And obviously people are looking at them now because they got relegated down a division. So there's obviously players there of decent quality and price tags on them. So obviously we went to see if we tested the water. So if we think he's good enough and at that price we have obligation to buy, it's obviously somebody that they think is a decent player. So it looks like we'll probably try and get him, which hopefully we do. I would hope Albury would get some game time this year, get him in the first team, let's see him as well, and take him back out, obviously. But aye, we'll see what happens. But we seem to be starting to attract attention for different players, and there seem to be rumours and stuff flying about. So hopefully some of your players will leave this week, and some of the players that we're attempting to get or hearing about that will manage to get in the door. But I'll change tack slightly. I'm going to talk about the Europa League. There's a couple of things I don't know if you have seen or heard much about it. But the first game will kick off on the 25th and 26th of September. And it's going to be played on a Wednesday and a Thursday night because there's no Champions League that night. But that's going to be our first game in the Europa League. You're actually playing right through until the 30th of January. You play your second game on the 3rd of October and the third game on the 24th of October, and then you play 2 games in November, which is the 7th and 28th, which then takes you in December the 12th. That's the only game in match day 6. And then after January, after the new year, the 23rd and the 30th is 7 and 8, Alec. So once we enter this Europa League, we're in it until the 30th of January.
It's a lot of games there. It's a lot of games, which means obviously we'll need a squad capable of coping with that amount of games when you're cramming in League Cups and Scottish Premier games as well. So it's something to look forward to, right enough. But I'm guessing with that first home, that first game, as such, that might be the date that is in mind with the board to getting Ibrox ready. So that's what I'm hoping for, if not before it. But that it's interesting. I've not looked into it as such as yourself yet. So, but it's a way to obviously generate cash again with tickets, full house Ibrox. Look forward to big games. Obviously, Champions League is the biggest games, but the kind of quality team that we're seeing now in that Europa League, it's very high standard, and it's only going to get better, and we weren't involved in that.
Champions League might be the biggest games, mate, but it's not the biggest teams.
Aye, true.
Well, that's some big teams. Well, we're obviously in pot 1. We're actually the 5th best seeded team in it for all the teams at the moment that are all in it. In pot 1, it's AS Roma, Manchester United, Porto, Ajax, us, Eintracht Frankfurt, Lazio, Tottenham, Real Sociedad is in it at the moment, but they might actually come out and go into pot 2. But as it stands, they're in pot 1 at the moment because there's some games in the Champions League qualifiers where teams will come into this Europa League next week and they've got their second legs to play. So there's some games in that. I like Bodo's playing, and they're already beaten Red Star Belgrade. So at the moment, which if they go through Bodo and go into the Champions League, then it means somebody like Red Star will go into pot 2. Same with Real Sociedad will go into pot 2 should Slavia Prague go it. And if Slavia Prague go it, they go into pot 1. So at the moment, they've got Real Sociedad in there. So you've got Roma, Man United, Porto, Ajax, Eintracht, Lazio, Tottenham. Big clubs, all there. Big games.
Oh, easy peasy. Easy peasy, mate. Bring them on. We'll tan them. Yeah. Something to look forward to. It's as I said, that UEFA Cup, it's going to get harder and harder to win the UEFA Cup. You know what I mean? So this is starting to prove the point. To get through that, you have to go somewhere. And it's just about money now, innit? It's just 8 games, just revenue. It's just, let's be honest about it. 99% or 95% of the clubs in it are just in it for the dough. They're just happy to be there, get the money and get out. Same as the Champions League. It's just money, mate. It's got nothing to do with serious competition. There's only a few teams actually ever get to the finals of these things, especially the Champions League. So it's a joke. It's just a joke. It's just a revenue stream, mate. So for a competitive point of view and the reality to go and win the thing, it's non-existent, mate. It's just non-existent. So it's who's getting fleeced, who's actually getting shared here. That's all it is again, and it's where it's the supporters, it's the fans. They're going to get shared again, but it's no like I remember the good old days. We used to get into competitions to try and win them. Now you just get in and try to make money out of it.
Aye, well, in the last 5 years, we've been to the last 16 twice, and we've been to a final. So,
but we're a big club, mate.
It's not that bad, but AK, some nice trips in there, or some decent ties. We're going to draw 2 teams out of pot 1, and there's Tottenham and Man United in there, obviously. Eintracht Frankfurt, so Lazio, Porto, Ajax. There's some decent games that we could have.
I would listen. That you're naming clubs here that have got a history, they have got a pedigree in European football, but unfortunately, as Albert intimated, the likes of your Chelseas, your Man Cities, your Red Bull Salzburg, your Leicesters, your PSG, they've ruined European football for me. I think they're basically plastic clubs. You know, they're just playthings for billionaire countries just to kind of see where they go. But they're dictating a lot of stuff what's happening in Europe. You've still got your big guns for Spain, Real Madrid, Barcelona and that. But unfortunately, as they kind of clubs squeeze into that competition, the kind of bigger clubs, your clubs with real European pedigree and history, they drop out, and it's not right. But I think this is where the financial fair play thing, that's where UEFA's trying to regulate it a bit better than what they've done, because they basically gave a free lance for all these clubs to just basically spend willy-nilly what they want, and they're going to come unstuck if they keep it going. And I think our board has been wise enough to recognise it early, and get our own house in order again before we can even think about Champions League or that.
Aye, look, I mean, obviously you wouldn't expect Manchester United to be on it, would you? And it's due to how they finish in the league table. Tottenham's the same. They have had aspirations to be in the Champions League when they're competing in England, but they're not in it. They're in with us in pot 1, and the chances are they could come out, we could get a game against them. Pot 2, Albert, we've got AZ Alkmaar, Braga or Rapid Vienna, Olympiacos, Lille or Slavia Prague. That'll be the one that'll decide where they go, Slavia Prague. Lyon's in it, POK Salonika, LASK, I can't remember what they're called, Fenerbahce and Maccabi Tel Aviv. That's on pot 2, and out of that we'll draw another 2 teams out of them up in the group.
It's going to be tough, mate, isn't it? It's just taking away from it. It's going to be tough no matter how you look at it. But they're giving you 8 games to try and get yourself sorted out. I know you're going to go into how it works for who qualifies for the next rounds. But tough competition now. It's the Champions League mirror this, is it? They're the exact same, mate.
The Champions League.
Is it the same format?
I think it is. Similar. I think it is, but I hadn't looked at it. I was just looking to see. I was actually looking at I wanted to see the pots, then I was trying to think, right, who's going to have the biggest stadiums so we can get tickets. You know what I mean? And then looking at like Maccabi Tel Aviv and Fenerbahce and that. No, he's been there before. The places are not the most welcoming, you know.
Geography comes into it, mate, innit? You're looking for no doubt. You're not wanting big, long trips.
There's a couple you don't really want to get back and play the same teams you've played in all, like, because don't fancy getting Sporting Braga again, you know, but if it happens, it happens. Maybe suit us to have them. But, it was just pot 2. There's some good, decent sort of level of teams in there, or teams with names, as you know, like Fenerbahce, who are usually decent. I think that's... was that Jose Mourinho, manager of them, AK?
Is it Fenerbahce it went to? I thought it was Galatasaray, but you might be right there. I will, Mourinho's pedigree in European football. He's won every European trophy that's out there. So, no, Fenerbahce, the Turkish clubs have always been, there or thereabouts in the latter stages of a lot of the competitions. There seems to be a bit of a wash with money going out there. I know that. I don't know where that's coming from, whether it's maybe filtering north for Russia or what, but aye, there's a lot of good clubs in Europe with pedigree. So it's just something to look forward to. I suppose away for the hullabaloo Scottish football.
Aye, pot 3, teams in pot 3, Ferencváros, Qarabağ, Galatasaray, Molde. It's at Victoria against Hearts. It's 1-0 to that mob, I think, so it'll either be Hearts or them. Bodo and Red Star. If Red Star get put out with Bodo, which I think they possibly could, then Red Star will move into a different pot 2, but if they go through, then it'll be Bodo. We'll have to probably go into pot 3. You've got Union St. Gallis, who we played before, Dynamo Kiev are in there and all, and Ludogorets. That's all the teams in pot 3, and out of them we'll be drawing 2 out of that as well. So maybe a few, maybe myself and all, maybe like to get Dynamo Kiev again, Albert, and just set the record straight.
Yeah. That'd be nice. That would be nice, mate. I think we're full squad back at Ibrox, so I think we would take care of them. Not a bad team, but not the best standard we've ever played. But aye, it'd be nice. So did you say 25th of September?
25th, 26th. That's the first game that will kick off in that tournament. But there's some decent teams in there, AK, in pot 3 as well.
Aye, absolutely, and it's clubs again that have featured in Champions League in the last few seasons too. So I think, as Albert's saying, it just becomes a wee bit like a kind of monopoly of the top clubs in Europe, and the top leagues in Europe in particular. Your English clubs, Spanish, French, German, Italians. They're even starting to age down the Portuguese clubs, the Dutch clubs, out the equation. When you're finishing 4th or 5th in a league, I don't think you should be anywhere near the sort of top table in European football. But that's just the way that UEFA structured things now. The big clubs are getting richer, and the rest have got to feed off the scraps in the table.
Aye. Usual. I was looking through that sort of group. Obviously, I think Qarabağ, they're actually getting gubbed 3-0 for the first game, but didn't fancy Azerbaijan, to be honest. But Ferencváros, Galatasaray, Molde, and Union St. Gallis again. So we'll get one of them on Ludogorets, and there might be one team will probably drop into that pot, but we'll get one at home and one away. So again, I think the games in that sort of group, getting the right 2 teams out of that group, I think we could probably get some points on the board. I mean, I was looking at some of the teams into the 4th pot. We've got Midtjylland, Slovan Bratislava. We've got Malmo or Sparta Prague. And one of them will be in that thing with Atletico Bilbao, Hoffenheim, Nice, APOEL Nicosia, Anderlecht or Dynamo Minsk, FC 20 and Besiktas. That's in pot 4, and again we'll have one at home and one away. So that's the sort of teams that's in the pot. So there'll be 1 or 2 others will come in and out, but that's the majority of them. So that's what it's going to look like when the draw's done, and who we could face. Sorry, Albert.
So 8 teams, 4 away, 4 at home. Don't necessarily. You don't play the same team home and away.
No, we'll play one game, whatever it is. It'll be one game at home and one game away.
Different. I'll give them that. I don't see the logic, but it's different. I don't see why they wanted to change it, other than just to get more teams in it. Again, revenue. Again, money. Nothing to do with football. Just all money. But it'll be interesting, mate. At least if we usually get by Christmas. There's a lot of other teams, the weird teams who never get by Christmas, have a chance to get by Christmas, just being a part of the tournament, no? So, aye, it's good. Looking forward to it, mate.
Yeah, I think it's certainly going to be different, and I would think there's a possibility that we're going to get the middle kick-off time, but at the moment, the kick-off times that are specified are going to be 3:30, 5:45 and 8 p.m. AK. So I would think, I'd like to hope we could get 8 p.m.s when we're at Ibrox, but there could be don't know how many 3:30s they're talking about, but that's scheduled in it, 3:30, but 5:45 might end up out the 8 games, 4 at Ibrox, we might have to end up playing 1 at 5:45.
Well, the geography, innit? The geography's going to dictate the times, isn't it? Depends who you're playing and where you're playing them. So all the ones out of Russia, wide over that sort of way over east, they're going to be the off 3 carry on it. Try to get the games to be played around about 6, average time, 6:30, 7 o'clock throughout Europe. So everybody can see it's telly. It's the telly. Like 3:30 over there, it's what time here? It's crazy. Or is it the other way about? Whatever way, but with geography. I would imagine anyway.
Aye, well, I think Qarabağ's going to go out there 3-0 down, so if they go out, that would obviously do with that, because that might have had something to do with them and all, I think, AK.
Possibly. Geez, oh man, we've got UEFA dictating the clubs that's involved in these competitions. We've got TV companies dictating the TV. When do the fans actually have a say in all this? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Never, mate. Just empty your wallet, mate. Go up and empty your wallet at the turnstiles. That's what they're looking for.
We had a similar sort of...
Sorry, sir, I was just going to say, without the supporters, football was nothing.
We had that. There was a format a good while back. I remember when you used to play. You didn't play. It was 5-team. Sure, it was a 5-team league, if you remember. Because I remember going to AZ Alkmaar. We played them away, but we didn't play them at home. If you remember, it was just you played 2 at home and 2 away. They done that back a while ago, and this seems to be a similar idea. Just with more teams in it, all better, as you say, for TV revenue and probably to make more money. But the good thing is we're going to 4 games at home, 4 away, and it'll be good to see who we get, because there is some big name teams in there. And the fact, hopefully, we'll be at Ibrox, it makes it even better.
It's just an extra game, isn't it? An extra game. Takes you into January, basically. But again, it's good to have 4 games, but it's no good if you can't afford it, mate. That's the things that annoys me. It sounds all great and fancy, but people just can't afford. Struggling to get to league games, let alone 4 extra. An extra European game, because if you're in Europe, you're getting the 3 anyway, aren't you? If you get by the qualifiers, but it's on the face of it, from a football point of view, it's exciting to see different teams. For a financial point of view, it has got its drawbacks for the fans, as Alec was saying. And for a competition point of view, it doesn't exist, mate. It just simply doesn't exist. So, I'm going to be negative with it, mate, because I don't like what UEFA and FIFA do to the game, and they just run it to suit themselves, and they're actually in competition with their member clubs, especially UEFA.
It looks to me, just before we go to the tune, because we'll have to go on mute, but it looks like it's like the Super League that they try to do is a breakaway, one big league, and that's what it looks like to me. They've just sort of formatted it like that. But anyway, if you 2 guys would like to go on mute, we're going to have a tune.
Every Saturday we follow, we cheer the boys in blue, the most successful team in football. We're Scotland's gallant few, in Ibrox Park. Every Saturday we follow to cheer the boys in blue. The most successful team in football was Scotland's gallant few, who times they have been hard, were followed near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands in Ibrox Park. Every Saturday we follow, we cheer the boys in blue. The most successful team in football was Scotland's gallant few. Though times they have been hard, we followed near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands in Ibrox Park. Every Saturday we follow to cheer the boys in blue. The most successful team in football was Scotland's gallant few, who times they have been hard, were followed near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands in Ibrox Park.
Hi, welcome to Southside Super 6 for Saturday the 24th of August. My first selection this weekend is Watford to beat Derby. My second selection is Barnsley to beat Northampton. The third selection is Fulham to beat Leicester. The fourth selection is Chesterfield to beat Salford. The fifth selection is Huddersfield to beat Shrewsbury. And the sixth selection is Luton Town to beat Preston away from home. If you take all six, it pays 22.5 to win.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, AK, how could you not?
Aye, well, if you put a tenner on that, you lose your tenner. Good luck, big man.
Albert, you heard him last week, didn't you? When we were out, and he gleefully says that he doesn't mind putting on his wee bet every week, just so I fail.
He did. He enjoys the failure better than the triumphs, mate. He does. He loves it. He loves his wee tweets, his wee text messages out. Telling you, there's always next week. There's always next week. But you keep giving him ammunition anyway. Don't do the early kickers.
I haven't. They're all 3 o'clock.
That's the best way, mate, because he loves that. That's the thing doing before 2 o'clock.
I've been thinking about it, and
is this the 2.5 goal one, by the way?
No, this is just to win.
Right.
They're just ought to win. Because early in the season, I think I'll get another few weeks and then I'll go back to the 2.5 goals. But no, but what will happen is he'll text me tomorrow and say, send me your teams. And I've just thinking about it and I'm thinking, I don't know if I'll bother. Because the last time he missed it, we got the lineup, if you remember, and he never had it on. So if he's not prepared to listen in and write the teams down like other people might do on the show, then I'll maybe just sack him tomorrow when he sends me the text, and then it hopefully bounces in. Anyway,
I'll give him 6 different teams.
Listen, he'll be besotted tomorrow. He'll be besotted tomorrow with Scott Wright. Did you get that frame thing? Have you got the frame sorted yet?
Aye, so sorted.
Is it right? Okay.
I thought that 36 inches by 22 inches a bit over the top, but there you go. I'll go it for him.
Did say blow it up, and the guy just blew it up, didn't he?
Oh, didn't he?
Yes, okay.
I was going to say, are you actually solely responsible for putting the winter heating allowance up with all your Southside Super 6?
But enough to pay for some tomorrow, mate. Don't worry.
Good. Because the Onions are freezing out there.
Anyway, I think we'll get back to talking about the game tomorrow. 3 points a must. I think if we start positive like we did last week and quite quick, made a lot of chances, I think if we just take even half of them at the start of the game, it'll be a comfortable win. I think it's just how we start and play. I think we'll never stab at the team, but AK, if we show up like anything like last week at the start and created the chances, we just need to take them, didn't we?
We need to start that way and finish that way. It's a 90-minute performance we're looking for, no 45 minutes here and there. Scoring early is obviously key. It settles the team, it settles the crowd, and then we can hopefully maybe rack up a few goals. I mean, looking at Ross County's form coming into the game, they actually lost to Spartans last week in the League Cup. But a shock result for them, so they're licking their wins, and they've not exactly started the season flying either. 2 draws away to Motherwell, 0-0, and they scored a 95th minute goal against Dundee United at home, 1 each. So they're a wee bit scrappy for form themselves. So for me, it's an opportunity to not only win, but to hopefully win comfortably.
They lost that Dander, I think, to Hearts, and obviously the boy Murray left as well, went to Dundee, and he was two of them were quite influential players for him last year, Albert, even although they were down in the playoffs. It was 2 of their better players. I know they've still got big Jordan White up front, but listen, as Alex alluded to, their form's not been good at the start. They're probably lost 2 of their best players. I know they're trying to recruit, but we're at Hampden, hopefully for the last time in the league, and we've got to get the right attitude and desire and heart, and make sure that we're creating chances and starting to play the football that was even more than what we've seen last week.
Let's be honest, no matter how their form is, they're playing the biggest team in Scotland, so they're going to add at least 20-25% on any performance. So I'm fully expecting that, but I'm still expecting to beat them. But you pointed out, the problem we've got is we don't put teams away. We just don't take enough chances, mate. It's as simple as that. We play some nice football. We're just building a team. It's a bit shaky at times, but it's getting there. But just take the chances, mate. Take a better percentage of the chances. There isn't any problem at all, mate. That's as simple as that. But their players they've lost. You're right, they've lost a couple of players that played well. But you heard Clement referring to reference it in his presser, how it hurt last week. We allowed them to beat us last year. That was criminal, mate. That was criminal. But again, there's reasons for it. I think we all know the reasons for it. A couple of the players had just chucked it, just threw the towel in. But it was a strange day altogether. But you can hear Clement, he wasn't happy, and he's still not happy about that defeat up there. And I don't think a lot of the Rangers support are happy with it either. So tomorrow, no slip-ups. Just put it away properly, professionally. And let's go on, mate. This is the games that win your leagues, mate. You just put them away. Would they put them away last year? Who knows what would have happened?
I know. I mean, you mentioned it today. I thought, you're telling us it'd be the same bus journey back down the road as he did. And it wasn't very pleasant, but there you go. But listen, it's all about us tomorrow. It's going to be the confidence builder again. I think. Do you think, Alec, the team that pits out tomorrow, probably 9 of them, you'll think anyway, would start next week?
I will obviously Proper. I think might come in, but he's not got a lot of options as it is now. So I think he'll probably go as strong as he can, and probably change. Hopefully we're 2 or 3 goals up, and hopefully change a wee bit off the bench and stuff. With keeping players fresh for next week's game in mind.
Aye, when I said 9, obviously I knew Proper would probably come in the week after, and obviously Scott Wright will be back.
I would expect so, yeah.
Well, that's a big minus, isn't it? So that's something not to look forward to, isn't it? But at the end of the day, he's still there, so he might very well get a game. I mean, I'm not bothered with next week. I'm bothered with this week. So let's not get ahead of ourselves here now. I mean, let's put this to bed first. And I'm think. Do you want me to give you my team, for example?
Well, I'll tell you about today. I was going to sort of go through the team and sort of date together idea, and you could see if you want to agree or no.
Well, hold on. To disagree with you because I'm not wanting trouble.
I forgot about that.
What you say? I'm going against it.
You sound like you were a teacher's pet back in the day. Didn't like you get into trouble or anything like that? No. Right. Talk about people that get.
I was thick. I had to be.
Talk about people that can get us into trouble. I think we've been joined by old Davy. How you doing, pal?
Thanks for taking my call. Good night.
Yeah, this is a true story. I think I was on the phone to Albert, by the way, and I had a window cleaner this afternoon, but it looked nothing like yours. All right, Albert. That's what I says to him.
The one he had a beard.
Anyway, good evening, Southside. Good evening, Albert and young AK. That's nice to hear you. Just back my holidays there. I landed in a hurricane on Wednesday after leaving the Costa del Sol. It was 33 degrees. But that's Scotland for you, isn't it?
Did you come back with your shorts on?
We had one of these. We couldn't even get they take the teleporter over to the plane. We took it down the stairs. Everybody was in the shorts. Oh, it was terrible. But that's Scotland, isn't it? But I've been listening to
that. Let's talk about the Rangers. This is location, man.
Aye. No, it's great news. I'm really pleased about the stadium being ready because I know it's a bit late in the day to talk about it, but I think if we'd have got that Dynamo Mob at Ibrox, we'd have done them. More so we'd have done a referee enough, but I think that would have generated a better atmosphere because I don't think Hampden's doing it, and you guys don't think it's doing it. They're a million miles away from it.
Well, David, as fate might have it, they're in pot 3, we're in pot 1. We might draw them in this Europa League, so albeit that's a chance it might happen. Sometimes these things, they happen.
It's going to happen. It's a certainty, and it's going to happen. But looking forward to it anyway. Depends where we get them. But you want to go to Poland? Or you want to tear them at Ibrox?
I want to terrify them at Ibrox.
Aye, so they are, mate. That'd be good. That would be good. But we deserve to We deserve to beat them, mate. Absolutely deserve to beat them. Do you think they pull the same tactic of throwing themselves at the ground, holding their faces?
Didn't do it in the last game that we were playing against Salzburg.
Aye, and they won her. The whole of Europe seen what they done, by the way. And I think all the referees, or the referee that day, last night, was warned about them. Keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this, because they weren't doing it. I only watched 10 or 15 minutes of the game and didn't seem to be doing it. But there you go. Scottish team, throw yourself on the ground, hold your face. Just let the reputation of Scottish football take care of it. But anyway, I hope there's a fair chance we might get them. But fate's fate, and it's a guaranteed certainty we're going to get them.
AK, think we'll get them?
Yeah, I couldn't care less whether we get them or no. I'm more worried about tomorrow. Bring on the Ross County. Europe will take care of itself.
Davey, tomorrow, we were just talking before you came on, I don't know if you heard, we were saying maybe 9 of the team, he'll maybe start with tomorrow, he might tweak 1 or 2, obviously proper, if he doesn't play, he'll come back in next week, but you would think maybe 9 of the players that start tomorrow, I think, would probably all feature again next week. I don't think anybody that's just back in training might come in. So that's what I'm thinking. So I'm looking to see how they'll play in gel tomorrow, leading up to the following week. But first and foremost, tomorrow is the most important thing of getting the result in that performance, Davey.
Yeah, that's what Robert was saying. That I'm more concerned about, which we always are concerned about the first game. You don't take one game at a time. It's the monkey mob next week, isn't it?
Yep.
Aye, so you couldn't take the chance of, putting somebody that's just going back at that game. So if we were going to take a chance, I don't even see them even taking the risk against Ross County. So it'll be the tried and tested, I'm afraid. And I think if Big Proper's on the bench, which if he's no on the bench, he'll definitely be keeping him maybe back for the following week. But you don't know what Clermont's going to be sticking on apart tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be the best anyway.
He said he didn't have to risk him, AK, didn't he? He'd be fully ready for the following week. We've got a week's rest, Dave, if he doesn't take part tomorrow. Just to make sure that he's definitely ready for the following week, innit, AK? So as we said, we thought it'd be Balogun and probably Suter tomorrow, Davey.
Yeah, can I just ask you something, Suicide? Sorry for interrupting there, guys. See, when you were talking about the pots there for the Europa League, I've missed a few of the games while I've been on holiday. I thought the Dynamo Kyiv not got another game to play.
Aye, they have got the return game. So at the moment they're in that pot.
Oh, so okay.
They beat them 2-0 away.
Yeah.
I said there were certain teams might slightly change, but Dynamo Kyiv 2-0 down. They're going away to play away for him. You'd likely think Salzburg would go through and they'll be in pot 3. That's what we're meaning by it. Yeah.
Sorry about that. It's an age thing with me,
But that's all right. Well, quickly, if all Bears get a team right, so quickly while we're on, right, we'll go through a team. We'll pick, and I'm sure all Bears will have plenty of differences, right? But we all can agree Buckland's in, unless you're off your head, all Bear.
Aye, Kelly.
Put Kelly in there.
No, what did you got one off his head? One other one.
We're not agreeing with you.
Oh no. Oh, listen, sorry. While I remember, Alec, would you like to do your request?
Aye, no bother, pal, thanks. My mum's birthday's today, so it's just to wish a happy birthday to my mum and Kelly, 71 today, and my father was 73 yesterday, so happy birthday to the two of yous. I'm thankful to still have yous.
There you go. Happy returns. Right, so Buckland's in tomorrow. Who you going for right back? Bear, who did you have at right back?
Who have you got?
Oh, I'm going for Sterling. I need to.
I'm going. Have.
I need to hope Sterling starts tomorrow. But I'm chasing a couple of games. I've got a couple of games in hand, by the way, just so you know. It was up to that mob next week, but because I never played in Europe, and I've got an extra couple of games, so just to let you know that, just so in case he's listening. But I probably will be Tav, but I'm hoping it's Sterling it right back. Davey, what do you think?
It's going to be Tav all day long, isn't it?
Right, so it's Tav then. It's going to be centre backs. We'll just name the two of them. I'm just going for Balogun. What?
You just ignored me here. I was just going to thank Stevie for the half bottle of tequila rose. I'm picking Tav and all.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Right, left. We're going for Balogun and Suter. Any objections to that?
Is that what you're going for?
Well,
if you're going for it, I'm objecting.
I think he's going to rest. I think he'll rest proper, right? I think he'll maybe just no risk him. It's Ross County, right? Come on, we've got centre backs here. If King had to win them all, I wouldn't be that first, to be honest. But you'll know.
Aye.
So Balogun and Suter, I think centre backs. Does everybody agree?
King and Davis.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, Dad, I need to agree.
Who? You going for Davis?
I'm
No,
disagreeing. I
I'm
don't want any trouble.
All right. Fair enough. Left back, got to be Gefty.
Yes.
No.
Nah, you've been championing that for a while, haven't you?
Aye, I think he'd be a great left back.
Davey?
Yeah, I'll go with you, boss.
Thanks very much, mate. So then we'll go into the two in the midfield. No brainer. I think, Diamandi will go into the left-hand side of the midfield and Conor Barron on the right. Two in the middle for me. The two will start in there. No having Diamandi up one tomorrow. So, any objections?
No.
I put Sterling in there with Barron. With Diamandi in the advanced room. Yep.
And how did you think Sterling played last week in there?
As good as Lawrence.
Has
been missed.
Albert, how do you think Sterling played last week? And then I'll come to Davey.
I think he had a brilliant game last week. He done a beautiful crossfield ball right enough, but no, he never had a really good game. But I'd still play him in there tomorrow, along with Barron, because I'm going to put Diamandi up to the 10.
And sticking them back in there again.
I mean, Lawrence can't play. Let's be honest about it. We're wasting time here, mate. I'm kidding on that he can play that role, he can. You don't get anything. Don't get me wrong, Diamandi last week didn't get much out of him either. I think it's the role itself, right enough. I don't think that role's conducive to getting or we're good enough to get that player into the game enough. But anyway, I'd put Diamandi there anyway.
Right, and who did you have in there? Sterling in beside Barron? Aye.
Barron, in the midfield.
See, the only thing with that is, I find you're not getting. It shouldn't matter because it's Ross County, right? But Diamandi brings the ball a bit deeper. He runs with the ball further than what Conor Barron does. Conor Barron seems to pick up, play nice wee passes, plays like the 1-2. So I just thought he's the guy that sort of drives the midfield when he's trying to go forward, link passes. If you play him in the 10, I get it. But I don't know. Sterling didn't do enough for me last week in there. He's not creative enough. And we shouldn't really need him to battle tomorrow against Ross County. I know they'll maybe overload it, but I just don't know. AK, help me out. You probably want to play him in the midfield, I know, but you're as mad as Ox.
I'm kind of. I know what you're saying. I know he doesn't bring a creative touch to the midfield, but see, as it is now, it's obvious it's not working. Lawrence he's dragging a caravan, as Bob Jer says. I don't think Dowell's much creative. And at the moment, we're without Cantwell and Hadji anyway. They're the obvious guys who should be playing in there, but because of politics with the club, they're no featuring. So I think the more Sterling plays in that midfield, I'm hoping the more he gets used to it. I know he's not a natural in there. I know he'll cause a bit of carnage and what have you. He's basically a ball winner, isn't he? He's not there to be creative. But see, when you see that crossfield pass he picked out McCausland last week, wow, where did that come from? Come on, if you've got that in your locker, you're starting to get that in your locker, surely there's other parts of his game that can develop into the midfielder that we're looking for. That's all I'm saying. Personally, I mean, you could even be looking at Bailey Rice and possibly coming in there, Liam King. That's his natural position. You could have McCausland in the 10 role as well. He does have options there, but I think he's just trying to get a settled team now, rather than continue to keep chopping and changing.
Listen, we could get a young boy in the midfield, no bother, if he would play a 3-5-2, for talk's sake, Davy, because then you could put a young boy in there with experienced players round about him, and if he made a mistake or whatever, it shouldn't be too bad, because there's 5 of them in the midfield, with some of them breaking. You could probably play a Bailey Rice, you could probably play a Cole McKinnon, if you play 3 centre-backs, but he's never going to do that, Davy.
No. That's the thing. We've all been talking about that lately, and Ox is about it all the time. And I agree with him, and I think you're the same. We could play that formation, but he sticks to this one we've got, and I just don't see. I don't see any progression coming to it. It's just the same old. And what you're saying there, he could chop that about for tomorrow. And I would rather have Sterling at fullback. I wouldn't even play him tomorrow, because I don't think we need him for tomorrow. I'd rather keep him by for that man came up and let him go out there, because if he's injury prone a wee bit, I mean, Ross County, they don't really take any prisoners either. But I agree with you what you're saying about putting the young guys in there, because I've listened to his interview, and he's quite right what he's saying about the youngins. But the problem we've got in Scotland is the people. The only way the youngins will get a game is in other teams that's not got big wage earners, and we'll not take the chance. It's just what the boys are up against, and the talent isn't really great either to bring in. So. That's that.
You're right, Davey. We've no gave off. Listen, we know the reasons why sometimes, and you can always say they're not good enough. All bear, as we've said, but sometimes you can. And I think in certain systems, you could probably get more chance of playing a boy. And if you've got a favourable draw in the cup, and you're sticking to your system, we should be able to try and play 2 or 3 of the young boys in a team at one time. If we could play Robbie Fraser, for instance, you could have played Cole McKinnon, and I suppose if you're counting McCausland in there, there's 3 young boys that we booked the academy. But it isn't going to happen. So I think the more he'll probably stick Albert, and I think he'll probably stick Matondo on the left and keep Yefty and Matondo, the same as last week.
Aye, mate, they played well last week, to be fair. I mean, Matondo's not my favourite player, but he did have a half-decent game last week. Basically what he should have been doing for the time he came into Ibrox. So I think he'll keep them together. The reason the boys are not getting a game, it's no point in getting out of this, keep getting out of it. The reason they're not getting a game because the competition in Scotland is crap. There's only one team, 2 teams, Rangers and them. And everybody else is just playing catch up. So we don't get beat that often that you can't afford to put the boys in the team, because your wiggle room to win leagues is very, very tight. So that's why they'll not put the boys in the team. If the competition was more fierce in Scotland and teams were taking more points off both of these teams, then you could actually start. I know it sounds crazy, but you can actually put the boys in, because you know if you lose a game or you draw a game or a couple of games and all that, it's not the end of the world. But at the moment it is. You can't afford it. So they can't afford to take any chances whatsoever. And until we encourage more competition within the Scottish game, it will stagnate and carry on the way it is at the moment. It's just a fact of life, mate.
See the fact. We'll see the fact that we play 4 times this season, Davy, right? And you're playing Ross County 4 times, right? So, or theoretically you do if they're in the top 6, but you're playing them 3 times. So if you've got them twice at there and we're playing St Mirren and you're playing these teams, I just think at Ibrox, if the team's playing well and once he starts to build a team, I hope he still keeps some of these young boys there and about the squad and they get the game time. He hinted about it today, but then he sort of said playing in a different league and then up to 21 and then you're ready and all that. Our boys should be ready when they're coming in about 19. We should be able to blood a boy about 19 and stick with him like we're trying to do with McCausland. I know half the support criticise him and all that, but he's a young boy and you've got to hope that if he doesn't continue his career with Rangers, that if somebody comes in for him, then we'll sell him for decent money because he's going to have first team experience and he'll have international caps at Northern Ireland.
Yeah, but I think what our problem regarding the young guys is the talent is certainly there, but we're not going out and starting games and finishing the games before even half time. We should be battering in 2 and 3 goals before half time. And then that gives the manager a chance to bring these boys on. But he can't do that because we're struggling. So that determines how he's going to bring them on or take them off, sort of scenario. But I think that is a hindrance for him.
Aye, but hopefully we'll give them a chance. AK and periodically we'll get some in and they'll come in and play. So unless Matondo's got a lot of rumours about him or there's a deal on the table for him or a loan deal, and I would expect him to play tomorrow. And I would like to think that Cherny, AK, is going to play on the right-hand side tomorrow and start.
Aye, I would. That was the team that I'd picked there, pal. But it's an interesting quandary for the gaffer. If Matondo's no on the team sheet tomorrow, I think the rumours of him going down south to another club, there might well be something in that because he'll certainly not want to risk the move because we need him after the wage bill. But as far as the team is concerned, Yefty and Matondo were probably the shining light out of the team that we watched last week. But going back to your youth policy, I'm hoping that we keep them part of the squad and give them game time. But you know yourself, a new manager, once he gets his own players in there, he needs to be looking at them, he needs to be playing them to improve the team and hope that the young players continue their development and training and you know, show the right attitude and get game time in that, because as it is now, we're all looking for a freshness to the team because it's basically it's the same old for what we've had the last couple of years that's been playing. All right, Connor Barnes came in there and did well, but you know, you keep relying on your Tavernier to bring something to the table, and you know, and you can't keep leaning on the guys. Other people have got to take up the baton, score goals, assists. Big Dessers has scored 3, he's 1 assist out of 5 games, but where's the contributions of the other players in the team? I'd like to see Diamondi chip in with a goal, even Connor Barnes chip in with a goal, and who knows, you might have Balogun for a set piece or something. You know, it's about time the other ones in the team started contributing as well.
Aye, Kearney obviously got a goal on that, but he has to hopefully, if he starts tomorrow, starts to contribute, assist, same along with Matondo if he's on the other wing, Davy. He's getting a chance, should there not be any speculation about him at the moment. If he's no linked to go anywhere, he's getting a chance tomorrow to take a place in the team since Cortez is out injured. And it's up to him to produce the goods. And if he does, they might even get a move.
Yeah, well, I agree with AK, what he's talking about. And I'll say the same thing about Davis. if he's not on, and I don't see him being on the team sheet tomorrow, because I think he's a cert, he's away to Birmingham. Matondo, I'm not too sure about what's been said and what's not been getting said. But I think Davis, or the two of them's not on that team sheet tomorrow, they're definitely gone, because they'll not take a chance. They need to get them off that wage bill. But I think there's going to be big surprises coming next week, guys. Everybody's been on about, oh, this is dragging, we're not doing this. I think this time they're taking their time. That might sound a bit corny, but the last times we've just dived in there, 4 million here, 5 million, or 3-4 million here, and we've ended up with a few duds. And I don't see them doing that again, and that is why it's taking so long. But I know we're going to get Peter out to get Peter in. So if they two get out, and what we've already had for Golson, but I think there's something else to come here, guys. Definitely next week.
Aye, Tom Lawrence could be in that list that nobody's even mentioned, you know. They took him at the firing line last week. Whether he puts him back in this week or tomorrow, we'll wait and see. If he doesn't feature in the lineup tomorrow, Albert in the starting 11, then you would think that he was certainly no starting the following week up there.
Well, it's two choices. He's either injured or he's gone. And knowing our luck, he's injured. But I wouldn't bother. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I wouldn't bother if Lawrence gets sold. Not at all. Because he seems to be hanging his hat on him at the moment. And I think that's because he's no other choice. But no, if he goes, he goes. It's no great deal, mate. Because
he does have choices, Albert, but he does have choices.
What choices?
Well, listen, I've said it on here and I'll keep saying it, right? McCausland can play as a 10. No, I know you'll know, but listen, if Lawrence hasn't been cutting the mustard, McCausland's got more pace than what Lawrence has got. He's more direct. Aye, Lawrence has a more experience and probably hits a harder shot and can produce a bit of magic from time to time at the edge of the box. We get that. But he hasn't been doing it. He's done it a wee bit in flashes where he was involved in the goal and all that against Kiev when he laid it on to FD Kroos and all that. But listen, he's not been cutting the mustard. You could probably take a chance. You could have said you could take a chance on Lowry tomorrow. Same idea.
No, they're no choices, mate.
But they are choices.
They
are choices. They are choices. And it's Ross County tomorrow, so or else you start. But with
realistically, there are no choices, mate. Lowry's had his chance, mate. He's gave him chances, and he's not done nothing. He's been kidding himself on the B team.
He's not many chances this side of the year, but mate, he's not many chances.
He's no a choice, mate. Let's no go down that road with him. And McCausland will not get the number 10 jersey because he doesn't see him as a number 10. I'll phrase it another way, right? See if you start with Diamande, right? If you start with him in the number 10 role when you're making a sub tomorrow, would you rather see Lowry come on if you're winning, or would you rather see Tom Lawrence come on? Or if McCausland was on the bench, would you rather see Messi coming on?
I know, but do you know what I'm saying? Give them a chance in their true position. Or do you want to get back to the same old AK? If you had a chance tomorrow and Lawrence is on the bench and you've got Lowry on the bench, would you rather Lowry come on if we're winning 3-2, 3-4-0 than see Tom Lawrence come on the park?
Aye, when you put it that way, aye. But I'm with Albert there. Listen, we can see exactly what you're doing here, Southside. If McCausland plays the 10, that means Diamonde's into the midfield and Sterling has to go to right back and you get your bottle of vodka. Come on now.
Listen, if Sterling doesn't start tomorrow, right, he'll be on the bench for the simple reason being that he's going to come on into the midfield and he'll take either Barron or Diamande off if he doesn't start at all. That's what will happen. But ideally, and that might be a reason why he wouldn't put me right back and start playing him, because when we need to bring a sub on, because you maybe know why to play Barron long anymore. Get him off, make sure nothing happens to him, and keep him for next week. Probably with Diamondi and all. So when you're making your subs tomorrow, then you're looking at your bench and you're saying, oh, well, it'll need to be Tom Lawrence, so we'll need to come on then for Diamandi, and we'll need to stick Kieran Dowell on for Barron or Sterling if he starts in there. So that's what I'm talking about. It's about who you're bringing on when you're making the substitutions. And he's trying to balance it up.
I've just had a text off of Big Stevie to make sure you're not going to Aldi for this bottle. He wants a proper one.
I know he does. He's praying like anything. Davey, would you not rather see a young boy come on tomorrow like Lowry rather than bring on Tom Lawrence if you're making the sub if the two of them are on the bench?
Yeah, it's a great point, but I mean, whether it would materialise, I don't think that's the way the manager's mindset is at the moment. I mean, that's all right, us saying this and doing that, but I think he's got a different way of looking at it. As I said, I think I'd rather see Stirling just. I think we've got enough there to get by Ross County, but we said that last time at the end of the season. You know what happened there. So, I mean, you've still got to put your best team out, but you've still got to think of who's going to fit the best positions, and it's a difficult call. But he's got options. That's the main thing now. We've got options. We didn't used to have a lot of options. But they need to pick themselves up a bit, guys. You know, the up front's just not happening. The chances, it's just no. We've got to get that sorted.
Well, do you know what? It just frustrates me sometimes, Davey, because we keep saying give youth a chance, and if you don't put them into their positions, they need to take it. And Lowry will get labelled with this or that, right? He had a life-changing event in his life. By all accounts, I've heard him interviewed, they said he's not got a problem with his attitude. He probably has to work slightly harder in the games I've watched him, but the boy's a talent, and you only need to look at the 2 goals he scored last week against Clyde to see that he has a talent. And if we need to try and get some young boys on the park, then I would rather see him come on the park and at least go out and try and hopefully do something good that he does in the B team, and he starts to flourish and get some game times, get a bit of belief, maybe manager believes in him. Same with Ross McCausland, he's a true number 10, he's no that. Cantwell doesn't want to be here, Hadji can't play it, and we're persevering with a Tom Lawrence in there, and some people want to promote Diamandi, fine, but when Diamandi, if you promote him, needs to come off that park, I would rather see a Lowry or a McCausland go in there in the number 10 and finish the game and give them the belief, and you'll see 2 totally different players in that position. Albert, you know the wee man's totally direct. It's just about giving him chances, and if he's on the bench, put him into that position. Don't stick him out in the wing where he's only limited to what he can do.
I'll go back to what the original question is when I said he's no choice. He has no choice, mate. He's if he had the choice, all these choices were made through the pre-season. He gave them all chances, including Lowry, to see what he's got. And right away, attitude. We need Barron came in and showed them all. This is what you need to do to play for Rangers. He's a true Rangers player. He's shown them what it means. Lovelace is no good. Lowry's no good at that in his game, and he never will have it in his game. It's just he's a maverick. I said it the other day there. He's just a maverick, mate. He's good at times. I'll give you that, but nah, you can't build a team around him. And you can't build a team around Lawrence in that position. I don't actually know what his position is, to be perfectly honest. Same as Dowell. So he's not got an actual player to put in there. He's just look, McCausland. If McCausland wanted to play there, he should chap his door and tell him, I want to play the number 10. Let me see. Give me a chance in there if he's got it. But you remember, he sees these boys in training. And if McCausland showed the attitude of Diamondi and Stirling and Barron and players like that, and we're asking when he's on his game, if he showed that dig and determination, he would get in, he would get the job. He would give him the jersey. He would say, "Aye, right, okay, go and win me games." And he showed, the wee man showed that he has got a wee bit of class about him with that goal last week. I mean, that was a cracking goal. Very, very subtle, man. I was like, oh, well played, son. Actually, excellent goal. But I don't think he's ready for the number 10, unless he thinks he is. Chap the door. Tell the gaffer, I want to play there. I think I can do your job. But at the moment, Clement's no choice. That's why Lawrence is playing in that number 10. That's why he's sticking Diamandi up front as well, up in that position when Lawrence is not playing. He's trying to get a solution, temporary, because if anything, I think he would buy a number 10 if he got a chance. Maybe not this window, but definitely he'll bring one in. And I've told you, if I don't particularly like his system, I don't like it, because I think that position, if you're not involved in the game and controlling the game for that position, you're worse than useless, mate, because you do very, very little in the game, and that's what's happening. They're getting isolated out the game. I mean, you play that mob. When they play that mob, that's the first thing you do. Isolate that player. They just isolate them, and that's it. The tank threat just dies. So that's just my view on it, mate.
I know we don't control a game for long spells enough anyway. We haven't since the start of this season. It's something we need to do, and that's when your number 10 slightly becomes ineffective, as we see. But I don't like the system either. I think we should play 4-3-3, 3-5-2, or 4-4-2. I think 3-5-2 would suit us better. I think you could afford to play a young boy at times in there in the midfield. And I think it'd be a good advantage for us to try and get the younger boys more experience in the first team, playing one every now and again just to help the team out. But I think we'll be stuck with the 4-2-3-1, and that's the way we'll be going. I think we can. Well, anybody get any theory that does Danilo start again after last week, or do we stick with a goal scoring CD9? Davey?
Well, I missed that game last week. Yeah, I made a right mess of it when I was in Spain. I got my times mixed up with a shooter. I never seen Danilo, but I've heard he doesn't look fit enough. So I really couldn't comment on it, but I would stick with CD9. He's got to, because it's hard for me to call it, because I've never seen a guy, Danilo, playing against St Johnstone. You know.
What do you think, AK?
I think you've got to start with Dessers, mate. Give him 60, 70 minutes, whatever it is. Hopefully, as I say, with a couple of goals clear, and then get minutes in Danilo's legs at the last wee bit. It's obvious Danilo isn't up to speed. You've got Iganami starting to feature there in training, so hopefully, the turn of the internationals, we maybe start to see him featured. Dessers needs competition up there. You know, you can't just be throwing him a jersey just because he's shown up every week. That should be the last thing about our club. But it seems to be a feature in the last 2-3 seasons. The guys who are getting rewarded are the guys that's available. And the other ones have just got to play bit parts, depending on what the medical team's telling come on. So that's where we are now. It's not a good position to be in at all. But touching on your change of formation, it's obvious without that number 10 now, I think we have to change with the personnel that we've got. If we go 3 across the middle with Sterling, Connor Barron and Diamandi out left, I think they guys would be more comfortable in their roles. You're trying to put square pegs and round holes in now just to suit the manager's theory, and it's not working. We're scraping by, we're getting by with wins, but it's not pretty to watch. We want entertained as well as seen as win, didn't we? That's the end goal for a Rangers manager.
I was disappointed by Kieran Dell's performance. I know he done a lot of running and shut down and stuff, but he didn't do enough to make that telling pass. All better that he worked hard, but he just didn't show up, and it just felt like him and Sterling. I know it takes time to sort of gel together, and they two were flung in there, but I just thought the two of them at times just didn't work. It just didn't feel right at all in the midfield between the two of them. So I don't think Dell. I think Dell's on the bench tomorrow, and I think, like I say, if we could say Tom Lawrence is on the bench, that's the thing. When you start to look at the bench and who's going to be available in there when we're picked to start in 11, with Proper being out injured and all, you'll probably find Leon King will be on the bench. There might be a place for Lovelace tomorrow, and maybe I don't know. Raskin's only come back and trained. He said one day. I don't think he might put him on the bench, but I don't know if he would take part. But I don't even see him doing that. I think he likes to get a full bit of training inside him first. Old Bear, doesn't he? He usually says he likes to see him back in training for a while.
Aye, I think the more, I mean, we're carrying on with the team earlier on, but I think the team, the more it picks itself, mate, to be honest. It'll be Butland, Tav, Suter, Balogun, Yefty. Midfield will be Barron and Diamondi. Up front will be, and the number 10 will be Lawrence. The outside right will be Shefty. Centre forward, Dessers. Outside left, Matondo. That'll be the team, mate. That's the team he'll pick. Guaranteed. He's not going to give anybody chances, and he's going to solidify this team to try and say, right, that's going to be my starting 11 till I get new players. That's going to be my starting 11, and I'm going to tweak it with the rest of them. He'll bring Sterling on. If there's going to be a change, I think it will be at right back. Actually, I think he might play Sterling at right back because eventually he's going to drop Tav. But the team I just mentioned, I think that's the team he'll go with. It's a given, mate. They've all had a week off, remember now, and knew this is a case of you can't turn around and say, oh, we'll play him to get him minutes, we'll play him. You've got to play your strongest team, and he'll think that is his strongest team at this particular moment. That's his strongest team. Fit players, everybody's fit. I think you substitute Cortez for Matondo. I think Ridvan will come in at left back. I think Proper will come in centre half. He might even come in centre half with Balogun, unless we sign a centre half. I thought so. There's things like that, and then you've got a midfielder. You've got maybe a centre half to come in, a midfielder to come in, and a forward to come in. Whether it's going to be a winger or a centre forward, I think it should be a centre forward. We'll then try and get Danilo up to speed, and he will be your number one striker.
So nobody thinks Danilo will start then. He might play it and keep Dessers on the bench just in case, and give him another 45 minutes. It's not worth the risk. Just put Dessers on, hopefully score the goals early, get him off, injury free.
Yeah, I think so.
He is the best striker at the club. Let's not be kidded. As much as he's got his faults, he's the best striker we've got at the moment, fit, available, and has been scoring. I've got a feeling myself, Davey, Lawrence might come back in the 10 because I think he needs Sterling cover. If he doesn't play him at right back or play him in the midfield, he's on the bench, right? I get that, but I think it's cover for the midfield, and I think that's because we're loaning so many players that can come on. The Fraskin had been fit. I hope he's back fit. I hope he's in contention for going up there next week. On the bench anyway, that could come on. I'm hoping, because I think he would make a difference. I know people say he's been injured, he's got his faults, but listen, he gets about the park, he wins tackles, he retrieves the ball, his passing lets him down a bit. But listen, if he's fit and he's available, it's better than if young boys aren't getting a chance and you all want Sterling at right back, then he's another one that can go into the midfield and help out.
Yeah. See, what's the position with Ridvan? Suicide is he out for a while?
Manager said, I don't even think he was sure, but he said roughly 4-6 weeks. But you'd imagine that will take a bit longer, maybe. We never know, but he's never usually been quick back, Ridvan, has he?
Yeah. I think regarding, sorry for interrupting, but I think regarding what we're talking about, the setup, I think you've got too many players in there who can't play to his system. And they're no gelling quite the way the system wants it to be played out. I think that's one of the problems we've got.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right, Dave. I'll tell you why. Because he needs a number 6. And he needs a real number 10. Mm-hmm. That's what we need in the team. No, and we tried to get a couple of them. We tried for that Daniel Garcia, and unfortunately we didn't get him. But I don't know whether he went to that other club or he's still where he was. And we tried to get a boy, Johan Jordan, the number 6 boy for Seville. I think he wanted him, so we didn't get him either. So you can see that once we get a proper 6 and a 10, it probably will function a lot better. You'll have a more mobile number 10 up front that he sees that he wants to fit in there. And that's what it looks like. And the same in the 6 role. We'll not have Sterling in there playing the 6 role, you know.
Davey,
Mobile, on you go.
Davey, Ridvan's out getting measured for his school uniform, mate. That's how he's out.
Oh, you're a bad man. You're a bad man.
As much as we can laugh, listen, we needed competition in there. On his game, he's looked all right. He can burst for defence and come through the middle and that. We've seen him. And he'll put a tackle in and all that. But it's just unfortunate when he took that shot last week. He's done some damage to himself at the moment. But unfortunate again, he's only getting a wee run of games and then he gets back out injured, and that's the most frustrating thing, AK.
It is, pal, it is. Ridvan, when he was getting his run in the team, he certainly looked value for money that we paid. I think it was about £5 million we thought out of him, but we didn't see him for a lot the first 3-4 months, I think, before he actually featured in the team. We were all wondering why. Then he came back and then he showed his quality, but that's the issue. That's the problem that the manager has. A lot of the players are not robust enough to cope with the amount of games, the physicality in the Scottish League, produce in Europe, then go again and then go again. We can't be having this, and this is the problem with our team. This is why we need so large a squad, and how we've got so much dead wood hanging about the club, because the squad that Michael Beale had and built, see when I think Clement said at the time, the European squad that he had to pick up for, I think he had about 6 or 7 defenders, he had about 3 midfielders and about 8 forwards. It was totally imbalanced, you know, so he's got to try and work with all of that, plus get his own players in, and the players that he's already got in the now and has been linked with, they're all decent players, but it's just a matter of getting them in and other players out.
I think if you look at what he's signed at the moment, obviously we've not seen a great deal, but listen, Proper looks like he can defend. He's too fitted. He's seen him, he's been relatively good in the air in most of the challenges that he's went for. And he looks quite comfortable on the ball. Positional sense, he seems to do well. Cortez, I think, wants to go and take defenders on. Unfortunately, again, he's back out injured, but I like him for what the games I've watched him, because he is direct and he wants to go at defenders. Czerny looks as if he'll be a class act, and Connor Barron has come in and just looked at home since he walked in the door. So, if he can get players, Diamandi, I think, of a decent season. So I think going forward, if he gets a chance to bring the players in with the activity and some of these players that are muted to begin out, then it'll all be positive news for the start of next week. But the most important thing is to get the 3 points tomorrow. Davey, it's time to wrap it up, pal. So would you like to say your last words? And I'd like to thank you, mate, as always, for phoning in. You're always welcome, bro.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. It's great to hear you all again. But always remember one thing, guys. We are a people, and that'll never change. So, good evening.
Albert.
Hi, good to be on with yourself and AK the night. Enjoyed that. Davey kept phoning in. 3 points tomorrow. Most important, mate. Most important. 3-0 to the Rangers.
Aye, so what, give us any goal scorers?
Dessers, Gebney, and Jeffy.
Who was your second one?
Chevy or Chevy? Czerny.
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase, aye. That's what I'm going to call him now. Chevy Chase, in that wing.
You're 3. I think CD9, if he's on long enough, will hit a brace anyway.
Oh, good.
I'd like to think so. Anyway, AK.
Aye, thanks again. Been part of the show tonight with yourself, Albert. Thanks to Davey for phoning in. And I hope my parents had a good couple of days' birthday celebrations there. So, aye, come on the Rangers.
Yep, come on the Rangers. No, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody who's listened in to the show this evening, and also thank Davey for phoning in, and also like to thank you two guys, because it's been a great help tonight to do the show with you two, so thanks as always for being available and helping out. Also like to thank the techie team for in the background, Fox and Old School Blue, because without them there is no show. Tomorrow I don't believe there'll be a show before the game, so if that's the case, we'll be back on Monday at 8 PM as usual. I think most people are attending the game tomorrow, so I don't think there'll be a show. If anything does break, it'll probably get put out there on social media. But apart from that, I'd like to thank everybody for listening, and as usual, there's only one team, one crown, so come on the famous Glasgow Rangers, take it away Foxy boy.